Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at nearly high noon, broadcasting live out of Burbank, California with UBN Go Studios. And then every Saturday at 6 and Monday at 6 Pacific Standard Time on my syndicated CNBC channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3 and FM 106.5, and all the time on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian talk or Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So we have topics and hosts and shows and guests to that end. Anywhere from Fran Drescher, who talked to us about how to reduce your risk of cancer. We just had Jane Elliott on to address racism and how to end it. She was on Jimmy Fallon last month and on Oprah replicating her brown eye, blue eye, not experiment, the experience out of Iowa, and then on Red Talk Table last year. So if you missed it, you can get all of my past shows from 433 consecutive weeks on the air. A little bit of applause. Thank you, Tony. On my free subscribe YouTube channel. So please do go there. You'll also see my red carpet interviews with Halle Berry and John Travolta and Quincy Jones. So many different ways to get connected with hope and happiness. So this is a new series that started last week. We did the first series on It's Not Black and White, or Is It? Since COVID started. And now we're on a series. I thought it would be nice to bring on guests who could help you in the transition, either in doing something new or to overcome all of the stuff that's going on in our heads and help us with both mental health and business health. So today, continuing my 5P series, which I've called Purposefully Positively Planning for Possibilities in this Pandemic. And today's guest is Kessa Gooden. And she's an author, motivational speaker, and philanthropist who's been motivating and empowering men, women, and children worldwide. She's lived through a lot of adversity herself, from being abandoned at 14, foster care, homelessness, surviving a narcissistic, abusive relationship, alcoholism, and currently fighting the system to get custody of her kids back. So she knows how to maneuver through hardship and get you back on your feet and help you start your own business. That's what she's an expert in, as well as starting a nonprofit. And she actually helped me, so I can fully endorse her abilities, and also business taxes, and all kinds of that. So we're going to be answering some questions both on how she survived hardship, as well as helping you in case you've always wanted to start your own business. And thanks to COVID, it is a reality now. Please welcome to my studio, Kessa Gooden. Yay! Welcome, Kessa. You are zooming in from
Las Vegas,
California, or Nevada.
Nevada.
Wonderful. So welcome to my show, and I'm delighted to have you. And before we get started on the business tips, just to give you a little background on Kessa, why don't you tell me, with that lovely accent, I know you weren't born here, so kind of take me through what you have been through, which I understand is quite a bit.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marissa, for having me here. I am honored to be here with you, sharing today with you. So thank you for having me. And that's a nice introduction. Thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself. A little bit about myself. I first migrated to the USA 20 years ago when I was 14 years old. My mom said she wanted to give me a better opportunity because she's from Jamaica, and in Jamaica there's limited opportunities there. So she wanted to give me a chance and a shot at life. So she then sent me to my dad, and I came here to America and stayed with my dad for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, he went to Iraq. And after he went to Iraq, he decided to leave me with an aunt that I did not know. And I was with her for 3 months before my real journey began. I stayed with her for 3 months. And then after that, she put me outside. And then my journey with the foster care system, homelessness, abandoned building, and even to a point of sleeping outside in the snow. That's where that journey began for me at 14.
Wow.
So yeah, here I am, 14. My world is torn apart, and I'm in a foreign country with no family or support system that could help me, to get over it,
Right,
But
right. Was going
yeah,
back to Jamaica an option?
in my mom's mind, and I understand what she's saying, and I understood it. There was no option of being raised in Jamaica because majority of the young ladies that I was growing up with, they really did not do much with themselves because there's not too many positive role models that are in Jamaica right now for kids to follow, or younger version of myself to follow. So when to go back, I asked my mom. She said no, she did not want me to go back. I have not stepped foot back in Jamaica for
Wow.
20 years. Yeah.
Wow. So tough love. You're on your own. Go figure it out. So what did you do?
So I went to start with taking care of people, kids, starting with cleaning people's house, doing people hair. I mean, I was really a hustler. I remember even at a point I was even selling Valentine's gifts for Valentine's
Wow.
Day, going from door to door, doing door to door sales. My mom had instilled in me at the age of 8 entrepreneurship.
Okay. So
I
we can
think
thank
that
her for that.
we could thank her for that, because
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, I remember at 8 years old, I made my first set of candies from beginning, like, and I start selling them. And I also, used to teach people in my home, and they used to pay me to come to teach them. I'll go to school, I'll learn, and people will come to my home and pay me for lunch and pay me to teach them. So I'm doing that at a very young age. So I have to thank my mom. And today is her birthday, Dr. Marissa.
Oh, how wonderful is that? Is she watching?
Yes, I
Oh,
posted to her. Yes, so she'll
good,
be
good,
watching.
good,
So
good. What's
yes,
her name?
Arlene Ropa.
Arlene Ropa. Happy birthday to Arlene. And I know you're very proud of your daughter with
Yes.
all that she's done. So keep going. So you are an involuntary entrepreneur at 14.
Yes, at
Okay.
14. I think it was one of the best choice my mom has made as a mom, to give me an opportunity to create something good for myself. And also that led me down the path where I'm able to create that for my own children as well.
Beautiful.
So it may not have been how we wanted it to be, but it's what we needed, what this family needed.
So would you say you overcame some of that hardship with a belief system that you carried? Like what was the, a lot of people right now are not feeling very good about what's going on and about life in general. So what can you take from those years? What have you taken from those years that you're now bringing into now, or some of your clients that you coach?
Okay, so before I went through personal development, there's a song that my mom used to sing as a kid. And that song says, I have a roof above me. I have food on my table, clothes on my body, shoes on my feet. And I remember singing that throughout some of the hard times, because it was always something that once I have that, I know it's going to be okay. I know the day is going to be okay. So that was part of something that I held with me to keep me through those times.
Yeah. So it's gratitude. And
it's gratitude.
Gratitude and ICBW. It could be worse. I could have no clothes, no food, no shoes, no hair. So that's great. That's great. So then you go from hustling and doing everything you can. When did you realize you wanted to start you've always had your own business, but the business of business, helping other people with their business?
Yes, that was 8 years ago. I was working in a friend's office, and my friend, let me back up a little bit before that. I was actually in the shelter when I met my friend. And that was 8 years ago, and I was in the shelter. And while I was in the shelter, I came across The Secret, and I started going through the personal development.
Yes.
And The Secret opened up my mind to a lot of things. And if you guys haven't read The Secret yet or watch it, it's really great. So it's a great book.
Yes, it is. And do you know the people that have been in The Secret that have been on my show already?
Yes, I know Sharon Lecter is there. I know Michael Bernard Beckwith,
my big
Bob
brother,
Proctor,
Neil Donald Walsh, Lisa Nichols. Yeah. I think I've had almost everyone from The Secret on my show, and I didn't consciously do that, but it ended up being like that. But it's absolutely, yes, a transformative book. The other one I would say is What the Bleep. Did you read that one? What the Bleep?
No, not yet. Okay. Not yet, but I'll definitely add it to my to-do list.
Yeah, good. Oh, sorry. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. Okay. So you read that.
Yes.
You were in a shelter for...
I was homeless at the time. So I was in a shelter with 3 kids and my ex-husband. And I decided, after coming across The Secret, from a yard sale, I decided, okay, I want to go down the path of self-development, that road, because it was the first time I've heard anything in that arena. So I wanted to go down that road. And while on that path of self-development, a friend of mine had me worked in his office, and he was teaching me the business. And then he said, hey, how about you go and get your license, and how about you start your own business? And I was like, can I really do this on my own? And yes, he was right. I was able to start my own business. And I actually started my business from my garage at the time.
Yeah. Beautiful. So and if you've just tuned in,
was a good experience.
Absolutely. Do you want to just fiddle with your wireless? You're just cutting out a little bit. And while I take this station ID, if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who the beautiful woman in my studio is today, it's Kessa Gooden, and you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get happy with Dr. Marissa, a show about hope and happiness. And today we're doing the 5 Ps. And I can't even say it by heart, but we're moving purposefully through this pandemic, looking for positive possibilities. And Kessa is here to talk about that. So you did jump, though, from 14 and homeless to in a shelter, husband and children. So I want to just connect that dot for a second, because I don't think you got married at 14. But what led you to marriage and children and then going into the shelter? What happened?
Okay, so at the age of 17, I met my ex-husband. And
Your husband. Yeah.
My husband. Okay, yes. Nice word.
Okay, thank you.
So I met him at the age of 17, and he was 34 at the time.
Okay.
Now, that relationship was a very toxic, narcissistic kind of relationship. So,
well, 17, picking a 17 when you're 34. Yeah. So you, like many children, myself included, who go through childhood trauma have a tendency to select significant relationships or a partner who, as painful as it is, it's familiar to what we know. Is that an accurate thing that happened to you as well?
I would say that. And I would say also, because at the young age, at 14, I'm on my own. So practically I'm an adult. So I'm not even thinking, okay, there's people who are going to take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who are looking for the perfect opportunity just to fill their needs and not yours.
Right.
So I wasn't aware of that. And, not having a full adult around, that is one
to
of the
guide
reasons why,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, to guide me and to tell me, okay,
Warn you.
warn me about the kind of things that can happen. Yes.
Right. So you married this guy and you had how many children?
So we have 2 kids together, but I have a total of 3 kids.
Okay. And so then you were married for how long?
So the marriage was really technically about 2 years, but the relationship cycle was 10 years.
Okay.
And then, out of that 10 years, we were actually together for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why were you in a shelter? What happened to get you in the shelter?
So when you make choices like I did, which is, poor choices of dating a poor quality of men and, poor type of people, you end up in a situation that you have to pay the price for them per se. Because when we met, I had a 2-bedroom and a 2-bedroom apartment. And, I was going to college. I was doing the right thing. But, as you meet someone and you think, okay, you're building a relationship with them, you make some choices that could lead you in places like homelessness.
Got it. Okay. So then you divorce him. And right now you're fighting for custody. Is that true? From him? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not just from him, it's from the system as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in all of that, are you still singing your clothes on your body and shoes on your feet song?
Yes, I am, Dr. Marissa. Let me tell you why. Because even though I have lost everything, because I would consider losing my children my everything. Even though I have lost everything, I have the courage to continue building and continue growing. And it is not my first triumph, first rodeo on this
first tragic rodeo.
Right. It's not my first tragic rodeo. Right. And with the adversities that I've overcame before, from homelessness, and even being in a foreign country where I don't even know the language.
Yes.
From being bedbound and stuff like that. If I overcame those, I am fully in health right now. Mm-hmm. I'm okay financially. I'm okay with my business, and I'm okay with my state of mind. Mm-hmm. So all I know is that I can only control what I can control and not what's outside of my control.
Right. So there's another tool, right? So remembering like the lessons and not the lessons of pain, but lessons of I can do this because I've done it before and I've gotten out of it. So this is the silver lining of life challenges, right? The pain in life, it chisels us into, stronger and stronger. It alchemizes us into stronger and stronger. So that's great. Yeah. So we're going to kind of switch gears now because I know that there are a lot of people tuned in because they want to know, they want to pick your brain. First of all, let's talk about the one that helped me because it's a great story in that I had thought about doing a nonprofit years ago. And I never had the time. So because people said to me, it takes years and the paperwork is horrible and blah, 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 blah. And so I sort of let that go. And then when COVID hit, I have the time now to do things that I didn't have time for. And I can remember talking to my accountant and saying to him, what about doing it? And he said, oh, it's going to take forever. And, now with everything slowed down. And then next thing I know, I get a message from you saying that you had met me, or I think I had posted something about, does anybody know anything about nonprofits? And you contacted me and said, we've met before. Either Ryan Long's event, I don't even remember.
City Gala. Yeah.
City Gala, and I can help you. And I'm like, really? She goes, in less than, what'd you say, 90 days, maybe even 45. Days. I'm like, yeah, right. Well, I think you came in less than 45 days. I got that paperwork, and I'm so grateful to Kessa for that. And so first of all, let's backtrack. Why would someone want a nonprofit besides the I want to do good? I mean, that obviously you want to give back. I think every company should have a nonprofit arm. That's my opinion, because it's not all about just making money. It's what you do with your money. Okay. So that's my BS. That's my belief system.
You are so right, Dr. Marissa. It's not all about making money. It's also about keeping some of that money that you make. And with the nonprofit is a good vehicle to keep some of that money in the foundation versus to pay too much expenses. So once you have it as tax exempt, you can write off the donation. The person who donates to you can write it off. You can write off your expenses, as much expenses as you need and deem fit to write off. So it's really good. And plus, if you avoid like the expensive attorneys to set up a nonprofit, it's really cost effective. It's not too expensive to maintain. And I know like most people think, okay, I need a board of director first before I start a nonprofit. No, you don't. You don't need that board of directors. And no, it's not going to take a year. When you go to some attorneys, yes, they want to tell you it is going to take this approval to get you tax exempt. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it doesn't take that much if you who know you just want to get the job done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then with that as well, one of the other thing that I see with the nonprofit that is beneficial is that not just that you could get donation of money, you could get donation of material things as well. Mm-hmm. You, especially when you're tax exempt, you could write your friends or family members who just want to say, okay, I have a car. I want to give this car to you in your nonprofit name. So it's really beneficial to have that. And then the most sentimental reason I would think having a nonprofit is you get to serve others, but you don't use your name. You don't have to bear the weight under your name. You get to build a credit for the nonprofit. You get to build assets for the nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And that nonprofit lives while you no longer live.
Right. So it's something you can pass on. It's a legacy. It can stay. It can stay as a legacy, which I'm excited about because
it's something you could pass on and exactly. As long as they renew it every year.
Right. So they
renew it every year. It's good for 99 years.
99 years. I didn't even know that. Okay. Interesting. So
yeah, treat it like another person.
My best friend. I'm not dating, so this will be my relationship, is with my nonprofit now. Shut up, Tony. 8 Ways to Happiness is my nonprofit, in case you didn't already know, if you haven't been on my social. And the mission of my nonprofit is to help teens and young adults who are temporarily lost know that they're loving, lovable, and loved. And one of the ways is through programs and also by donating my 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are best-selling book. So that's my nonprofit that is now, thanks to Kessa, on the ground. And you can actually donate to it easily without any money. Here's a commercial with just shopping on Amazon and using the Smile Amazon link with 8 Ways to Happiness. And that's all over my social. So thank you, Tony. It's a great way to donate. I've already gotten, I think, $2.20 from people shopping because they give 0.05% of what you actually purchase. So you're not actually donating to me. Amazon is donating to me. But if you don't already have a nonprofit to designate, I would appreciate that. 8 Ways to Happiness. And then Kessa, tell us about your nonprofit.
So my nonprofit is called Global Awaken Initiative, Inc. And Global Awaken is set up to help with food, clothing, education, and to help transition from a life of isolation to one of inclusion. And we currently help people in Niger, Liberia, and Uganda right now. And we'll love to start doing back work in America. For some years, we've done some work here, but we haven't really continued the work here yet. Yeah.
Why those countries? Just curious.
So I have ties to Africa because I lived in Africa before, and I love the culture over there. And also I founded my purpose in Africa, my purpose of existing, which is knowing that I can serve others versus serving just myself. And that was found by, in Africa.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm glad I asked that question. All right. It looks like, if I do the time check here, that it is time or almost time to thank the sponsor who makes this show possible. And if you are anyone with a product or service that you would like to have highlighted here with Dr. Marissa on an award-winning show, if I do say so myself, in its 8th year. I won the 2016 Podcast of the Year Top 10 in Health Award and the 2019 COVR Award, Silver. So this is a platform, if you don't already know, for hope and happiness. So if you have something that helps with that and you would like to highlight yourself or highlight a product or sponsor a show, please do contact me at drmarissa.life, and very COVID affordable rates right now. So we're all helping each other through this. Yes. All right. So we're going to go and do the promo for today. Have you always wanted to start your own business, your own nonprofit? Are you a closet entrepreneur? Well, Kessa Gooden can help you set up everything from your 501c status in less than 90 days. Help with business taxes and back taxes. She's your personal business assistant. So contact her today at www.camfinancialsgroup.com. That's KAM Financialsgroup.com. All righty, and you get a 30-second commercial that you can use in other places as well. So always looking for like-minded, love-hearted sponsors for this show. All right, so now we are back to Kessa Gooden. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today we're talking about business. We're talking about your own business. So let's say someone's been laid off because of COVID, which is just about everybody. I remember at the beginning, people would say, I lost my job. And I bit my tongue because I don't like saying mean things, but it's like, sweetheart, you're one of the majority. So they lost their job. Maybe it's a job that they hate. So, I mean, this is hashtag COVID silver lining. If you've always hated your job and now you don't have that job, you can either complain and be sad about it or see it as, maybe God doing for you what you couldn't do yourself. And now you have an opportunity to pursue a business dream that you've always had. Now, what should be the first thing that you do, Kessa, when you finally say, okay, I have now a little bit of fund money with the PP loan or the 1,200 stimulus or whatever that little bit of money, how much money should someone have that they can invest in starting their own business?
Okay, so with the COVID happening, it's not necessarily a bad thing that we lost our job. it's an opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves, to reinvent the way that we were going down that road. Because at the end of the day, if we were to leave our job, or if we were to die, our job would not continue to take care of our children, right? So this is, in some cases, I should say, this is an opportunity for us to say, okay, maybe I need to start creating something, a legacy for my children to have and my grandchildren, since having a job was really just serving me for today and for now. So, creating that new legacy and starting a business. And what I would think, what I know it would be a good start is to say, okay, instead of going the traditional way of setting up a business, which could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, anywhere from 50,000 up, look into new way, a new vehicle of doing it. We are in 2020. There is no need for us to say, okay, we need 50,000 to start a business. Right now, with so many online business models that is going on out there, you could start an online business model for anywhere from $1,500, $2,500 to even $5,000. And these are actual models that can help you build anywhere from 0 to 6 figure in a short period of time. But you have to be willing to search and find those vehicles, to look into, open-minded, to look into those new ways of making money.
Okay. So instead of hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're saying if you find the right vehicle, then you can spend less than that.
Yes, definitely.
$100, $1,000. I'm trying to get a realistic sense of how much money, so that people don't keep saying, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Because as we know, law of attraction, if you say, I can't afford it, you will not be able to afford it. So I want to plant a seed here that as little as how much you can actually start your own business.
As little as $1,000, you can start your own business.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a profit. How'd you say, a almost expense-free business.
Interesting. So what are 3 common mistakes people make when they start their own business? One, I think, is thinking that it's out of their reach and it's too much money. So we covered that one.
Yes. Okay. So some of the common mistakes that people make when starting their business, I would think one of them, and I made that mistake as well, is overspending. Is thinking, okay, I need an office space, I need a building, I need to rent something, I need to take on these expenses. And that is really a common mistake, because I made that mistake. I, went and bought an office building, didn't need to do it, but I've learned. But one is overspending. The other one is not having system and processes set up, how they're going to service their client, how they're going to help their client to get to the next level without the hassle of delaying that process of delivering the service, right? Is how can they service the client properly? They often don't think about that until it's too late. And then also, I would say listening to friends and family members who have never started a business before, taking bad advice from people who never done it before.
Yeah, my dad calls them the critic of someone who's running or jogging has one leg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So absolutely beautiful. So what would you say are 3 important things to know before starting a nonprofit?
We covered that
okay.
earlier, right? It's
right.
The very important things to know when you're starting a nonprofit is you don't have to wait a long time to start it. If you just feel it in your spirit that you want to do good and you want to help people, start now. It's best to start now, today, and start building upon that. Then let 5-10 years pass and then you didn't get anything done. Mm-hmm. And the other important thing is, don't worry about your board of advisor right now if you don't have it. Because if you don't have the board of advisor, are you going to stop and not let your dream come through when you could be helping other people? Mm-hmm. So the board of advisors can come at a later date. And the other one, which I think is really important, when we go to an attorney, we always get caught up with, we got to create the bylaws and we got to do this. And we get so we get so overstuck on the
Overwhelmed.
administrative,
Yes.
right? The
Yeah.
administrative process, that we forget our passion and our dream is to start today and get going with your purpose.
So
Yeah.
I know in my own search too, beware of the ones that say $49, because I called Kessa and said, there's like $49 you can get a nonprofit, but explain that's not true. Go ahead. What is that?
Okay, so that's just their fee of giving you a bunch of paper to fill out. You have state fees, you have taxes, you have registration fees, and you also have the incorporation fees and the tax exempt fees. So if they're saying that, who's going to pay the rest of those money? Somebody has to pay it. So those are, I would say, false advertisement to a T. Because it wouldn't cost $49 to start a nonprofit.
So what would you say is a realistic number? Again,
a realistic number, if you had someone to do it for you, you're looking at about $750 realistically.
So it's still under $1,000.
It's still under $1,000, exactly. But if you have someone that's going to charge you, the attorneys charge $2,500 to $5,000 to set this up. So yeah,
but you don't.
No, I don't.
Yes. So, and I can attest to that. All right. So another question, we're coming up against the time again. I always run out of time. That's the one common thing for 433 weeks. But what are 3 common mistakes people make when it comes to business taxes? So you do have to deal with business taxes, and one thing about working for somebody else, you're always in a kind of receiving mode. But when you have your own business, you do have more responsibility. So educate us on business tax.
Okay, so the 3 common mistakes that people do while taking care of their personal or even business tax. One of the number one, I believe, is overpaying on taxes. We overpay too much in taxes, because at the end of the day, if you're making money, it's supposed to help you take care of your family, not just give away 25% just like that. And we find that with like the Uber drivers and stuff like that, they're overpaying in taxes, because when they get their 1099 at the end, they're paying the expenses as well that Uber already took out for them. So they don't
so unnecessary.
So overpaying,
right.
Unnecessary expenses, overpaying that. The other thing with taxes is working under your social security number instead of setting up a company. It's best to set up an LLC or a business to collect your money in that name as a 1099 person than if you are coming in as an employee or collecting from the 1040. Because if you get a W-2, the chances are you're paying anywhere from 15 to 20 something percent of your W-2, while it just costs a small amount to set up an LLC, and then with that LLC you can collect payments in that name. So that's also one of the mistakes that people make with their taxes. The other one is using a software to file the taxes instead of a person, an individual who's trained to identify these expenses, these income, who know how to categorize them. The software doesn't do that for you. The software like TurboTax and all those software, they're just there to let you leave thousands of dollars on the table.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. So having someone who actually understands the buckets and what you can write off is more important than just doing it yourself. So you could be losing money thinking that you're doing everything yourself. This is something I need to listen to, even though I have a great accountant. But
I guarantee you, if you're using TurboTax or any of the tax software on your own, you are losing money.
Wow, interesting.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So So going to somewhere like what's that tax company that always? So even going to
like H&R Block.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
H&R.
I've been with my guy for so long.
Yeah, so going to there, you are saving more than if you were to just use the software on your own. But if you don't hire a tax professional like myself, you're definitely still losing money, because those people that is there with like H&R Block, they work for H&R Block at $9-10 an hour. So they're not going to care about saving you additional money. It's just like putting it into the software. They more care about, what they get paid every hour. When you hire someone like me and consult with someone like me, it's not about just what you pay me, but it's also what can I save you? What can I ethically, legally save you? And how can I help you to not spend all your money and give all your money away? And that's what I do for my clients.
Great. And I'm glad that you put ethically in there, because we're not, we're not MSU. We're not making shiitake up here with the numbers, right? You're still following
Exactly.
the rules, but
Exactly.
and that reminds me of, tax time. I can remember, people, I can't wait to get my money back from taxes. I'm going to do this with it and that with it. And then one time my accountant said, you realize that you're overpaying your taxes, and getting that money back is a bad thing, because that means that was money that you could have used that has now been delayed. It's your money. And it was like the light went on, like, wow, this went from woohoo, it's, time to party with some money, to that was your money in the first place. And now you haven't had it for the 4, 5, 6 months that you could have used it for something important for investment. So yeah. Great. So we're coming up towards the end. Is there anything else that we have not covered that you wanted to give my listeners as advice on starting their own business, on taxes, on nonprofits, anything? We've covered quite a bit.
Yes. There's one point that we wanted to cover, which is the 3 qualities that someone needs to have when starting their own business. And I feel that one of the qualities is having that determination.
Determination.
Are you there, Marissa?
Yes, you're frozen a little bit. So 1 is determination. What is number 2?
The dedication to wake up in the morning and to give excellent service to your clients. Those are 3 qualities that we all must have in order to have a successful business.
Beautiful. How do people find you, Kessa?
So they could go to www.kessagoodenteam.com or www.camfinancialgroup.com.
And those are all with a K.
Yes.
Yeah.
KAM,
perfect.
financialgroup.com. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And last question that I ask all my guests: what or who are you most grateful to or for? What are you most grateful to or for?
Okay, I would say I am most grateful to God, the Creator, for having me here, for my families, for my friends like you, for opportunity to get up each day and to make an impact on someone else's life other than my own.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wonderfully said. Thank you so much, Kessa Gooden, for coming to my studio. I hope you've enjoyed all of her advice and her inspiration and motivation. And I'm grateful to you for all the work that you do. I'm actually going to give you the Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, based on all of the troubles you've been through and that you've come through with a renewed sense of determination and resiliency, and what you're doing in your nonprofit work as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. And we are now at the end of the show, where I traditionally invite you to step up to my balance bar, where I get to invite you on different things that I am continuing to do. This week on Thursday, I'm speaking for the E for Women in Media, and you can register for that event at asianculturemediaalliance.org. And there's a registration link there. I'll be speaking on a panel, which is going to be really lots of information on how to make your presence on social media, your strategies for communication, for PR, all of that. So lots of great information there. Mondays at 10 a.m., new series called Make Up Your Mind. Every Monday, it's Monday Motivation. So I do it on the beach. Have had 2 of those go on already. So make sure that you put it on your calendar, 10 a.m. Mondays. And if you haven't enjoyed my Medium articles, everything from Are You Calling Me an Idiom? To COVID, your BS, your belief systems are killing America. So you'll want to share those with lots of information on how to combat racism and COVID, 2 viruses that have just completely wreaked havoc on our country and our world right now. Also some mental health tips on the first article that I published during hashtag COVID silver lining. Thank you to Purple Planet Music for always having fabulous backup for my commercials. I just spoke on Business Talk Radio that is out there. I actually got rated a 9.8 out of 10 on that. So if you missed that interview, it's on social. Go to my YouTube, free subscribe for now. We're looking at monetizing some of my shows. So I want you to get in on the freebie right now. Lots of great interviews with lots of great people. Thank you for supporting me on Amazon. Thank you for all the birthday support on my fundraiser. And I think that's it. Zoom sessions, anyone who wants a little bit of help up-leveling their happiness during this time, just real laser, don't need me for 10 years sessions. I'm still doing those. So please contact me at www.drmarissa.life. Thank you so much for continuing the support and tuning in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get happy with Dr. Marissa. Have the best week ever. Peace in. Peace out. World peace through inner peace.